different types of assignments and assessments along with how grades can be implemented, which are going to give pictures of students. Probably.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is currently 5 o'clock on Friday, February 27th. I'm going to show you a few updates before I go home, and I have got to tell you about this week. I am exhausted, I am ready to go home, and for some reason this week has been so stressful that I put my stations, my groups, back into rows. So let me go ahead and explain what happened. Friday last week, amazing, gorgeous. I told you guys all about it, all of the amazing updates that was happening. On Monday, fabulous, great. We did station day 1, and then Tuesday we're going to do station day 2. Finally, we were able to do a complete 2-day station rotation. And then it was my ancillary time, 1 o'clock. We got told, hey, you have an art meeting, by the way. Okay, I know sometimes those go over, but usually they're about 45 to an hour. We head over. 3rd grade is still in their art meeting. So we were holding the 3rd grade students while 4th grade students were in their ancillary rooms. And pretty much we were just sitting there for about 40 minutes watching the 3rd grade students while 3rd grade teachers were finishing up their art meeting. Then it was our turn, and we did not start until 1:40 and our ancillary ends at 1:45. So you can already imagine the stress that we were under. Like, guys, like ancillary is literally about to end in 5 minutes and we have not even started this meeting. They say, don't worry about it, we got coverage. Okay, so they went to go cover somebody at the 4th grade classrooms. And then we were in the art meeting for about an hour to an hour 15 minutes. It was very long, but it was very useful and resourceful because it will give one of my students lots of accommodations and accessibilities to lots of resources that she can use in the future to help her with her education on the STAR test and anything that she might need for future tests and so on. So it was long, but it was very useful and resourceful. Then an hour later, around dismissal time, we found out, oh, by the way, the students are taking their TELPAS test tomorrow and Wednesday. I did not realize. I legit forgot. We had just finished our interim last week and now we're doing TELPAS testing. I 100% slipped my mind. So it was currently 5 minutes before we have to go home at 4 o'clock. I scrambled to get my desk ready. Oh, but by the way, remember, don't forget, at 4 o'clock, I have to do case from 4 to 6. So I was really scrambling. I could not stay after school. I was already being called to the cafeteria because case was gonna start in 5 minutes. So it was just a whole deal. So 5 minutes trying to get these desks ready to go. I had some of my kids help me, but they did not finish. We had the privacy boards, paper, pencils, the computers don't get put on the desk until the morning of because they need to charge throughout the night. Either way, Tuesday, testing. I was with the 5th graders. Wednesday, testing. I was with the 5th graders. Sorry about that, y'all. Someone came into my room because they thought that I left the lights on, but I'm still here recording. I'm just gonna finish off real fast. So Tuesday and Wednesday, TELPAS testing. On Tuesday, they took their reading and writing, and on Wednesday, they took their listening and speaking. That one was a little bit more awkward because they have to speak into their microphone. So obviously, it's like dead silent, and then a kid speaks, everyone's going around. Like, so Wednesdays are a little bit more awkward because of the listening and speaking portion, but the students I hear did really well. We won't know the results until the next school year because somebody has to listen to those responses and like grade them and then get them back to us. So that does take pretty much all summer long. But then Thursday, we thought it was going to be a normal day. We had the stations day 2. Okay, like let's go ahead and do it. And then Friday we'll do something more stations, like all 4 stations. And then the Black History program, we were gonna do it for K's. It was gonna start at 1 o'clock, which means, by the way, parents were gonna come into the building, so they needed to park at our school parking lot, which means the teachers and the staff needed to go park across the street at the church. We always do that whenever there is an event going on that parents need to find parking at our school parking lot because it is so tiny. We can't fit everybody, staff and parents, so staff has to go move somewhere else. But it's okay, it's literally just across the street and it's gated, so it's completely safe. So parents came in, they watched the program. We were gonna watch it through Zoom because the whole school does not fit in the cafeteria. It literally can fit only a handful of parents. They have to even stand up, y'all, it's so bad. So we watched it through Teams, not Zoom, through Teams, and it was so bad. Like the internet connection, the voice kept going off. Oh, my lights turned off, give me a second. But we still watched it regardless. It was about an hour and a half, and then we just watched a movie for the rest of the time because half of my kids were in the Black History program, so most of them did leave after they completed their program with their parents. And so that was pretty much Thursday. Friday, I was like, okay, finally it's back to normal. No more interruptions, no more nothing. I forgot about Snack Shack. So 1 o'clock they started their Snack Shack, which means that kids can buy candy, chips, like all kinds of little treats and snacks through our like school store. And then at 2 o'clock, guess what? Fire drill. I'm like, you know what? No, I'm done. No more stations. And honestly, the kids were just being a little bit too playful and a little bit too silly today. And I just realized that stations are just not my thing. I keep trying to do stations. I want to do stations, but every time I try it, I can never find the really perfect niche for me. So I always just go back to my regular rows and just regular routines. I'm gonna try and do groups like I did last year when I split the class in 2. And so this side does one thing while the other side does another, and then after 20 to 30 minutes then they flip-flop, but they don't move, they just like change the activity that they're doing. So I might do that because the problem that we were running into before we did stations is that many students were finishing an activity and didn't have anything to do after, or they did have lots of things but they never really like got up and did it. So we're trying to like fill up the space because measuring up is great, but it takes like max 20 minutes of a 60-minute independent time. So it's like, what do they do for 40 minutes? So that's the reason why we did stations. So every station was 20 minutes. So that's why it occupied their time. But now stations, I don't like it. I know people love stations. It's not for me. I feel like when I was with 2nd grade, stations worked better because there was a lot more manipulatives or much more things that they could do. But when it's like star camp stuff, like paper, like you have to make the copies, you have to do this, you have to do that. I just feel like for me and my way of teaching, I just don't like stations. I don't like the timer being on so much. I just like one timer from start to finish. You have 40 minutes, 60 minutes, and it counts down. I don't like the 20 minutes and 21 minutes transition and then too much. So I went ahead, scrapped stations, I took off the labels, but we also did get books. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys. And do you guys remember last week when I was saying that I didn't like the boxes, like it was all smushed? So I did go ahead and take out most of the boxes. I took out my picture books. Now, can we use the picture books? Technically, no, because they are not in our school system. There is a law saying like you cannot just show whatever kind of books to your kids. So as of right now, they're just on display, and until we can finally get approval that we can use my kind of books for the students, I'm just gonna leave them out here. I will cover them up because they will collect dust over time. But in the meantime, I think this looks much nicer than all those boxes and bins. I just couldn't handle it. I do want to go to Walmart or Home Depot, and I want to see if I can buy like big tubs, maybe on wheels. I hope they're not too expensive, but I do want to buy some so we can consistently have the same thing. I can even put like manipulatives, because right now I would love to have like 7 of these manipulatives bins, but obviously they only give us 1, little greedies. But if I could have like 7 of the same ones, I would love to have it, so that way I could just stack them and have all different labels like books, chapter books, picture books, math manipulatives, science manipulatives, if I ever teach science again, blue bonnet materials, just like all kinds of things, but not have like 5 different boxes, 5 different bins. I want to be consistent because that's my type A personality. So let's see. Monday, normal, great. Art meeting ran long, but that's to be expected. Tuesday, Thursday, testing. Thursday, it was okay for the beginning, and then 12 o'clock hit, pretty much everything went out the window. Oh, I'm gonna tell you why this week was exhausting, and it was because of Thursday. So Thursday, the Black History program, they took the students who participated at 12 o'clock. So pretty much I had like 15 kids, no, I had like 12 kids in one time after 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock the program, and then pretty much watch a movie. But the thing that made it the longest was that because the ancillary team is a part of the Black History program, there was no ancillary, which means no specials for like some other teachers, no break at all for any teachers, like from pre-K to 5th grade, no ancillary. And we had no ancillary on Tuesday and Wednesday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, no ancillary. Now Monday, we had the art meeting during our ancillary, so no ancillary on Monday either. So no ancillary Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for all different reasons. Now, on Thursday, because the cafeteria was being used for the Black History program, and it was all set up with the stage and all set up like the benches, like for the parents to come sit and watch them perform, we had to have breakfast in the classroom. We normally have it in the cafeteria, and that's something new that my school does. Like the students eat lunch and breakfast in the cafeteria. I know some eat it in the classrooms, but that's not my school. And we had lunch with the students in our classroom. So Thursday, we were literally with the students from 7:30 to dismissal at 3:20, and we started late because the Black History program, I think, like ran long. So needless to say, Thursday I had to ask Miss Stovall next door, like, hey, can you watch my kids, because I have to pee. Like, it was that crazy. Like, there was no one we could call because everybody was busy setting up for the program, like greeting parents, getting the mic set up, checking the sound system. Like, it was crazy. And that's pretty much why it was so exhausting. And then plus Tuesday and Wednesday as the test administrator, you're just walking around making sure these kids don't talk, making sure they're not cheating, counting the ceiling tiles, counting the floor, counting your steps. Like, I have walked probably like 50,000 steps within the course of this week. Like, it's it's insane. So I'm exhausted, but overall this week was okay. It wasn't the greatest. I'm still feeling the love of admin because of my test scores, because they were so good. They were like, Blanca, you increased like 12 people. So we will have an official data meeting next week because we've had like no ancillary at all for anybody, and we were still expected to make those phone calls. So I'm telling you guys, it was just a lot of things. But let me go ahead and get out of here by showing you the classroom, just a few updates here and there, and then I will go home to my baby. Here's what the classroom currently looks like. I do want to update another one of these class pictures because it is going to be March, but you can see that we are now back into our rows. I I gave it a shot, guys. The groups, I gave it a good 2 to 3 weeks. I just couldn't. It is not me. I promise it is not me the way that I teach. But pretty much the biggest change is this section. If you guys remember, we had those 2 big boxes filled with chapter books. And I used the big boxes that were like right here to pretty much organize the chapter books that I have. These are the only ones that don't fit in the boxes, but I pretty much try to put this one at like evenly amount of books. Like for example, if you kind of notice, these books are pretty much all the same height, and then these one over here, this one kind of has like all different kinds of heights. You can kind of see like the little bumpy way right here, but I tried to organize it as fast as I could, so that way if I ever need to stack this one on top of this one, it'll lay evenly and not uneven. And then I had these 2 boxes. They were over here, so I took out the picture books and my teacher books. These are all my teacher books. I did give a lot of my reading books to borrow for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade teachers, so they will give them back to me at the end of the year after they use them. But I have all of my picture books here, and then we still have the same down here. I do need to see what's in here. I know it's more picture books, but I don't think that'll fit here. And I know these are like more of these ones right here, these types of trays, but I'm not using them at the moment, so I don't want to just take them out if I don't need to use them. I took down the rest of the anchor chart paper that was covering my anchor charts, and I did go ahead and put it over here, so that way when we have to cover up the papers or anchor charts for testing. And I did also put the rest of the privacy boards here as well, so it is out of the way. I do love having these extra desks. I call them my islands. So if a kid is not following the expectations, I tell them to sit here because they just need a break from being in the group. I do like having music. Miss Stovall does like having music. I never used to put it on because the class next door would always be a little bit louder, so I could never hear it really. But now that Miss Stovall has more of a calmer vibe with her classroom, I do like to put on music. So I like this one, Waffles Forest Book Nook, and it's so cute because I can put a little bit. Look how cute! And then I put a timer so the kids can see how much time they have left. The board is ready for March. I did go ahead and throw away the marker, the blue marker, because it was running low. On Monday, we will do 4.6D, which is lesson 25, and we will use our new books. Now, this is my homeroom's books because when we got the books, it was Class C, and then Class A was able to grab a book and put their name. So those are all ready to go. Here are your books. And then they put their name on the white section. So that is ready. So when my homeroom comes in, which is Class B, on Monday, I already put their names on them. All they have to do is just find their seat, and then, oh, it's falling. All they have to do is find their seat, grab their book, and then put it in the organizer. We do have one more book here because one of my students did tell me that she is going to be moving this weekend, so she will go to a zone school closer to where she lives. So today was her last day. Now, I left it blank, but a lot of my kids sometimes end up telling me, oh, I'm moving, oh, this is my last day, and somehow parents make it work and they still end up going to the school. So I never really fully take out anything until it's been a week of that student no longer being here at the school. So I'm gonna leave this book, even though I really want to use it. They only gave me 56 copies exactly. I was asking, can we get more copies in case I want to use one, but they say no, they only bought the amount that the amount of students have. So 56 copies, and then if the student actually does leave, this will be the only extra copy that we have. I was going to make another anchor chart or some kind of like star group anchor chart, kind of like the one I have right there, but I was struggling with it through ancillary. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try again on Monday, because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted, so I kept messing up. It didn't look right. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try again later. So this will be ready for when I arrive on Monday. Now there is a bit of a difference between the last setup and then this setup. So if you guys notice, there's group 1, 2, 3, 4, but group 5 is no longer here. Instead, group 5 is here, and then group 6, which was over here, is now here. The reason why is because those 2 desks used to be back here, and then we had the caddy and the organizer, and then we had 2 extra desks. Now, when I did the stations, I asked the custodian to take the remaining 2 desks away to the storage room, and she did. So I actually really like how big and spacious it is right here, and there is more space for the students to have between each row. Before, they used to have a little bit, like, look how much space they have now. It's incredible. And the also biggest reason why I had it is because I knew at one point I had 21 students. Right now this is enough to fit 20 students, but we did move 1 student from my homeroom to the second class, and that makes it even. So now it's 20, 18, and 16 students, although we could do 18, 18, 18, but we just decided we've already moved too many kids. Let's just keep it at 20, 18, 16. So if I ever do get another student in my homeroom that has 20 students, I will have to probably bring these 2 desks over here and then make a group 5 and keep it with group 6. So the fan did turn on, so apologies for that, but we do have the lesson plan for the rest of the month, and pretty much we have everything set up. I think we even have rock in review. They even put like early dismissal and when we have student holidays, and they did go until April. So I'm pretty sure they have, I think this is only for math, but let's see, they should have rock in review on here. I will have to, yeah, rock in review. So rock in review will begin April 14th, and it will end the day before STAR test, which should be right there, which is April 29th. That's the big day, y'all. All right, my lovely people, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here because this fan is telling me, Blanco, it's time to go home to your baby. But this is what the classroom is looking like. I'm still covering these up because I don't want students to rely on the numbers, especially so close to the STAR test. But we are already, computers are plugged in, and we are going to go ahead and continue learning and doing the best we can each and every day.